which is why we called it Shooting Straight. So it'll be fun. Oh, Letty's here. Buy your tickets now. Letty is on the marketing team for Self-Reliance Festival.
Go, Letty Lou.
Like, here we go. So moderators, please post a link to SRF. Sure. Let me see if I can do this.
You know, while you're typing that, for all you guys out there listening, oh, there you go.
Yeah. I have, see, does that make you uncomfortable that I have superpowers on your channel?
Not a bit. Not at all. That's how it works, you know?
So before StreamYard allowed you to add your own account like it does now, you and I actually added your account to my account for one of like years ago. That's why that's there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Look at that. Life with Mike and Jen. Bam.
Boom. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, if you could get them to ever come speak, they're out of Arkansas. They have a super fascinating story and very magnetic. I don't know if they'd ever do it or not. Yeah,
they should reach out to me.
Yeah, really good and good, just good folk. You know, they've stayed at my house, just spent a week with me not very long ago. But just amazing human beings. I'd love to see them get down there.
So Grumpy is presenting with Yoda. Speaking of your network, about how they used homesteading to opt out of the system.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to
that. This morning we were discussing his speech.
Oh, sweet.
A little bit this morning. So yeah, I'm super up to speed, and he'll do a good job. He's got a really good story. He worked for the government, you know, for a long time, and it cost him greatly, but they did it well, I think, you know, using the resources they had to try to get free.
Yeah. But you know, you and I, because we've been really busy, I don't know that I let you know what to promote for this, did I, very much in advance?
No, that's all right.
So I have this feeling that your people missed the early bird pricing. Is that correct?
I would say that's probably accurate.
What if I made like a Life Done Free discount code?
I think you should do that. And if anybody can go, you guys should go. It's a great, great, great place to find like-minded people. And the speakers are awesome. And I don't mean to downplay this, Nicole, when I say this, but I gained way more there out of the audience than I ever did out of the speakers. You know, I mean, the speakers were great. Listening to Joel Salatin speak last time.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, there's just so many amazing people. So I'm not trying to downplay them in any way, but I'm telling you, to be able to get out in the audience and network, I had so many great communications. And again, some of them people now live in my area, but some of them I'm just now friends with, and we talk on the phone, and we, you know, talk over email, and, you know, we work on their community and on our community. And it's just an absolute great place to find other like-minded people who are willing to be intentional and willing to do that next thing. And I can't speak enough praises of my experiences there.
Okay. Well, I just added a coupon code, $20 off if you type Life Done Free in the coupon code area. So yeah. Dana says silence. Does that mean we suddenly went quiet? I can hear you.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Everybody hear us okay?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I was thinking about that. Both you and Bear. So Bear was working on the ruckus, and I didn't want to. It's really hard to promote two events at the same time. So there we go. There's your coupon code. That gets you basically early bird price.
Cool.
For the next week.
Cool. Super. You guys go. I'm telling you, go invest in it. You know, and you guys have heard me say on my channel a million times, you want to build community, the single most important thing you have to do is be intentional. You have to take that first step. And, you know, I traveled all over last year for this exact purpose. You know, I got to go speak and you know, do some of those kind of things. But the real purpose was, how can I now take this energy and develop it into growing my community? And, you know, I do that through relationships, you know, with Nicole and John and then a lot of you find people too, you know? Yeah.
So what are you doing differently this year? So, you know, I have something to share with you.
Oh,
I have grid power.
Okay.
Right. So it does not make sense to put solar in, right?
I disagree, but go ahead.
Right. So we put a solar system in last year for my guest cabin that runs my water system then. and we discovered all manner of chicanery in the wiring in that building as a
Mhm.
result. So we basically couldn't run it unless we manually switched over
Mhm.
until we went through and fixed all the problems. So now it's all done.
Love that.
And I get glee every day. Like I have this app on my phone where I'm like, oh, the battery's 100% now.
You're turning into a solar Nazi. My wife's a solar Nazi.
Yeah.
She's looks at it 100 times a day.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, it's time to do laundry. The battery's full and we have more power than we're using. And then that runs the well pump, which
Yeah.
uses the surplus. So yeah. Yeah. I've totally turned into a solar Nazi.
How wonderful.
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of empowering to know you have that sitting there?
Yeah.
Because to me, it totally is.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, like, if tornadoes come through and knock out the power, I'm going to be in the dark in my house, but at least I have water and, we could always run an extension cord up here if we needed to. I mean, I have other ways to deal with stuff, but oil lamps are really nice.
Yeah.
Romantic lighting at my house if the power goes out.
We have oil lamps too, but I'm going to tell you, there is just something cool about knowing no matter what happens, you'll have some source of power, because you talk about, being durable. Well, one of the things about being durable, as you mentioned, was your health. Well, one of the things about keeping your health is not working yourself to death.
Yeah.
And energy is a force multiplier. Energy cuts down this energy.
Right.
So congratulations, by the way. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we've really, at my house, the first thing we did with that in mind, with the, hey, let's tap into energy better, was put a solar water heater in.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did a rocket mass heater in my pump house, which needs to be redone because that's life. Like we do the things based on what we've learned, and then we redo the things based on what we learned from actually doing the things. And then the solar, for me, it's a durability thing. So that's it, my motivation isn't how much money can I save on my power bill.
Mm-hmm.
It saves me some, but not a ton.
Mm-hmm.
It's how can I not care if the power goes out around me? Like I want to be sitting here going, wait, what? The power's out? Oh, okay. My power's not out.
And Nicole, I'll bet you 500 people ask me, what is my break even point on my solar system? And I always tell them I have no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't do it for any of those reasons. I don't care what that is.
Right.
I don't even care. It makes no difference to me.
Yeah.
I want to live without the stroke and the grip of the systems around me that then want to, pick winners and losers.
100%. And that investment lasts for years and years. Like it's a 20, 30-year thing now here. Yeah. And I made my choices with that in mind. When I decided it was time to do a solar system, and Sean Mills really helped me figure out the size for that and all of the things. He's asking me questions. Do you want new panels or used panels? Because you can get used panels really cheap. And I was like, well, like what's the payoff on that? Do you want this kind of battery or that kind of battery? And I was like, which one lasts longer? He's like, well, it's more expensive, but this one actually, because it lasts longer per year, your cost is lower, but you got to like pay it all at once. Yeah. And those sorts of things were really helpful to address.
Yeah. Well, not only do they last longer, it also gives you a larger discharge rate. You can take the battery down a lot further, which gives you more power as well.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I can go down to 0 if I want to.
Right.
So then my settings are optimized for off-grid in that it lets the battery go very low and then it recharges. But on cloudy days, it doesn't make it all the way back up. So for me, my goal is durability, which means if the power goes out in the middle of the night and my battery's not full, I'm not a happy person. Because then I don't have a whole day's worth of battery. And I do have the advantage of having the grid. Yes, total power Nazi. 100%.
You're turning into a power Nazi.
So now I'm like, I don't really like the battery discharge that much. So at the end of the day, when the sun sets, I look and I see how full is the battery. And I know how much of the battery I need for the night. And if it's not above the line, I grid charge it, even though that technically costs me more money because durability is the goal.
Durability is the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of force multipliers on a homestead, but I can't think of any of them that have as big an impact as energy.
Yeah.
Electricity. Yeah. Man, I move water with it. We charge everything with it. You know, my animals get to drink their water without zero input from us because of solar power.
Yeah.
Would not be possible otherwise.
Heavy equipment's really a thing too, though.
Oh, yes.
So that's our next. I think that's probably our next large investment before I solarize the rest of my
Mhm.
area is a skid steer or tractor. I think we're leaning toward a skid steer right now because the backs get hurt when you move the things all the time with the backs.
Yeah.
Nobody around here is getting younger every year.
Right. Right. Well, I'll tell you, my advice to you would be a skid steer is superior in almost every measurable way over a tractor until you come to things like mowing a field.
Which I don't need.
Right. Tractor's better at that. But really beyond that, baling hay, maybe, you know, things like that. But I have a skid steer and a tractor, and my skid steer is my go-to for everything.
Right. Well, and then we've been looking at what skid steer to get, which one. And that's been a little bit of the thing. So we can get a really cheap one and then tactical will have to maintain it all the time, or we can spend more money and get one that's not going to break all the time, which of course I like option 2
Mm-hmm.
because I have watched him maintain all the gas operated things around here from when he first came to the property and they were old.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of repair time put in. And so it's cheaper because you're getting one little part and you're replacing that part. But it's not cheaper when you're waiting a week for that part where you can't properly maintain things. And then all of the time spent ripping things apart and putting them back together. Yeah. So you already know where that decision's going to go to.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't agree more. And, you know, my wife just bought a brand new tractor, 2024 model.
Yeah, this is right. Buy once, cry once.
And, you know, we went back and forth a whole bunch, but at the end of the day, she can get in it. It will start every day. She has no problems with it. And, you know, a lot of that equipment, same with skid steers, they don't really lose their value at the same rate like a car does. So even if you buy one 5 years old, you're paying up pretty good for those kinds of things.
Right.
So,
yeah. I need to tell Tactical it's time to bring baby inside.
I'm surprised you don't have the baby in on the live with you. She'll be sitting in your lap while you're bottle feeding it, while you're monitoring your solar system.
Her next feeding's not till 8, and we don't feed early around here because we want her to eat a few times more volume. She's usually not super happy about this about a half hour before it's time.
So you're a birthing Nazi, a feeding Nazi, and now a solar Nazi too.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
I'm also a time Nazi in case you didn't know that. Yeah.
Got it.
If you've ever seen me run an event, it's like, we are going to start the sessions on time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just try to stay out of the way when I'm at the events.
Yeah. That's probably best.
Yeah.
Actually, Joel Salatin went over a half hour.
Oh.
Before I stopped him. And Jack Spirko knows I'm a time Nazi. And I think Jack Spirko was doing the next thing or he was doing something right after. And I get this text 5 minutes after we've gone over time. And I've already decided to just let it go. Right. He's like, let him have some of my time. This is too good.
Yeah.
Because he knew I was going to stop. And I'm like, we're going to go half hour.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it'd be pretty hard to stop Joe Salatin. I mean,
yeah.
You know, he's kind of the godfather, you know.
Yeah, well, and it was like his talk went a little bit over, but then it was people had questions, and I really wanted to honor that they came all the way out to ask questions on that one. So, and I had, you know, I've learned now you put people like Joel right before lunch.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lunch break, and then if they go over, it goes into the lunch break, and people can go to lunch if they want to. Yeah.
Hey, Big Kid's got a really good comment down there that I'd love to address. He talks about, I see your point about with buying new, but never pass up a deal I got on my Cat D4. I paid less than scrap price. I think this comes down to recognizing how often you're going to use it. So my skid steer I use every single day. I'm going to get good stuff because I use it every day. But, you know, we have a grader out here that's like a 1970 model because it's run 4 times a year.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think this is measuring how often you use it. Again, my skid loader saves me my butt every single day. I don't want hassles with that. But, you know, I have a commercial wood chipper out here. Use it a few times a year, but it's got to be an 84 or something, right? It's a lot older because I just don't use it as much. But just so that I address you, Mr. Big Kid.
Yeah. Well, and then some things, So this is along the same lines. I have a dishwasher at my house,
Mhm.
and it's not a human dishwasher, it's a mechanical one. And I did a lot of research. I got this GE. I used it for a number of years, and it has a built-in computer.
Mhm.
And it started going on the fritz about a month ago.
Mhm.
And it was one of those sneaky things where it worked and then it didn't work and then it worked and then it didn't work. So we tested everything. I finally determined the computer board needs to be replaced. And
Mhm.
the price for that's like $250.
Yep.
And that's at that point you're like, I might as well just get a new dishwasher. Well, I have a backup dishwasher that I use in my outdoor kitchen
Okay.
that I got on the internet like for $50 used, and it's
Mhm.
all mechanical dials.
Yeah, love it.
And I was like, we're throwing the backup dishwasher in my kitchen because I don't have time to think about a dishwasher for the kitchen. It gets the dishes cleaner. It doesn't have a computer to break. And so now I'm like scouring the used stuff for really old dishwashers that people think are ugly at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
I'm over it because when I started doing any research on appliances, basically unless I get a commercial dishwasher or one of these old mechanical ones, it's not worth, like, they're gonna break. They're designed to break after 3 to 5 years. So,
Well, I think there's something to absolutely be said about finding older mechanical things in a lot of those cases.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, Tambra says I'm the dishwasher at my house.
yeah. When you said you had a dishwasher, I was going to ask you if Tactical washed the dishes. No, you gave me the look like he ain't allowed in the kitchen.
No, I mean, and he does his own dish and he can do dishes, but we have actually had the discussion about labor division, and I do manage the meals and the dishes from the meals unless I'm like, I need help this week. Um, and in order to do that, the tool I require is a dishwasher. So I did go through about a week of doing the dishes by hand, which I can do, it's fine. But with all of the time requirements for my commitment to making Self Reliance Festival be awesome, it actually makes a difference.
Yeah.
And so what happened is I ended up having a sink full of dirty dishes all the time, which was driving me crazy. So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Great point right here.
Yeah, so everything has ridiculous touch screens at the big box stores. That's really true. So there was Tactical found me a YouTube channel with an appliance repair guy who mentioned which models he would get for all appliances,
Mhm.
from a stove in your to your washing machine to your dryer, dishwasher. He's like, pretty much I would get a Bosch, but you're screwed because all of them are going to break and it's expensive to fix them and they're not really worth it. And I just do my dishes by hand. That's basically where he went to with that. So, yeah, planned obsolescence makes all of us angry. I had an olive green deep freezer when I first lived here. Which makes you know about how old that
Yep.
thing was. And it lasted and lasted till the compressor finally went out and I couldn't get a replacement. In hindsight, I probably could have jury rigged something though.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
didn't know that then.
They don't make stuff like that anymore.
Yeah. But maybe they will again someday. So I feel like there's a really good profit model if we can tap the audience that's willing to pay $2,000 for a small fridge,
Mhm.
or $3,000 because it's repairable for a lifetime.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would do that.
Yeah, I would too.
I would take that deal. What's that mail? You all right? One more. Do we have another one in her?
No, I just
One
didn't
more.
want to sneeze out loud. I had to mute for that. I had to sneeze. There was no stopping it. I was like, oh, there it is. Yeah. Another point for buying old stuff is many more parts are interchangeable, but the trick is figuring out which part it is, right?
Mhm.
Like you have to take the part out and go to the store and put them side by side.
Yeah.
My roaster is like that. So I got a roaster that has easy to source parts because I wanted to be able to fix it myself and not have to have a repair technician come all the way out to my house, which is virtually impossible to get done. So
When the call for Bosch. I didn't know that.
yeah, I had a Bosch. I'll never get a Bosch again after having a Bosch, but they are the highest quality on the market, which isn't saying much. Like, it's not like Speed Queen is the highest quality clothes washer, and specific models are better than others, but they're repairable and it'll last a life. Like, that one will last a lifetime. Which is what I'm getting when I get rid of my 1980s era washing machine I'm currently using right now, which was left behind at a rental property. Somebody, like, it was so old, somebody didn't want it. So, and it again, it uses water to wash your clothes, so your clothes actually get clean. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder how, I don't know if you know this, how energy efficient are they? Because, like in my world, I look at energy efficiency over price. Like, price is the second consideration.
Yeah.
Do you know those? I've never had one, so I don't know.
I don't know on a Speed Queen, but they are designed to be durable and they wash really well and they use more water. So so it may not be all that energy efficient. I don't know. I don't know that that's it. That's not what it's trying to do. It's trying to clean your clothes consistently. But then there's also all the government regulations requiring certain benchmarks be made. So
yeah,
that's what got us into this mess.
Our government's a joke.
Yeah.
All of it's a joke. I get so tired of it.
I don't watch it anymore. It makes me too mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. I don't pay attention to it 6 days out of the week, and then I get ready to do our lives on Friday. For those of you guys who don't know, we do a live every Friday night at 7:00, and I usually cover current affairs. So I spend 3 hours on Friday just catching up to everything that happened during the week so that I can talk about it. Man, it irritates me every time. Every single time. But
well, then why do you want to talk about it?
Well, because I think it's about, at least from the audience perspective, it's about, like, a lot of them have said, this is where I get my news, and then I think the other side is just keeping, even though I don't think you can really believe a lot of what you're hearing, just keeping up to speed on what is going on in the Ukraine, or at least what are they reporting, and in Israel, and what are the jobs numbers markets, and what are the, all of those kind of things. So I think it's good to kind of keep up, but I do it in a 3-hour window once a week, and it irritates me to death. Maybe I should stop. I don't know.
Maybe you should get somebody to write you a brief.
Right. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah. Well, maybe one day I'll have a big enough channel I can afford to have someone help me with it. Because right now I do it all myself.
Well, if you want to test for free, go to knightsbridge.com. Okay. Use coupon code LFTN and they will sign you up for a month. You get a daily email briefing.
Night?
It's nights like I'm going to type it. It's nights like knight in shining armor.
Oh, there you go. Knightsbridge. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. I just interviewed a guy from Knightsbridge on my podcast, and their goal is to give you intelligence without freaking you out.
And what's the code?
LFTN for living free in Tennessee.
LFTN. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. And he set up that coupon code for me, and I'm going to check it out too. I'm still afraid it's going to make me crazy.
Yes.
But they analyze both nationally and internationally what's going on and then write these briefs. And their profit model, like, they work for large corporations and do different services, but their profit model for you, me, normal people is to give us what they think they need to know. And if there's a hot spot bubbling somewhere in the country here and you're traveling, it's really super helpful to know that.
Yeah. Yeah. See, check out Big Kid's comment right there.
Big Kid.
Yeah, that's why I do it.
Tag is our brief.
That's why right there.
Big Kid just volunteered to write your brief. I think.
I know, right?
Go Big Kid.
He's a really smart dude, so he'd pull it off pretty easy, I would think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, it's important to have enough situational awareness that you don't walk into something that you don't want to walk into, or you don't invest money somewhere where it's a bad place, know, but at the same time, if all you do is watch the meteor flying towards your head, so figuratively speaking, it's hard to move forward and celebrate the new life on your homestead and all of those other things that happen. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I'll
important.
tell you.
The world's
sorry,
crazy.
go ahead.
I was going to say the world's crazy. So, and it's getting weirder by the day, I think.
Yeah. I realized today that I was able to navigate birthing week primarily because when I was 10 years old, I read a fiction book called All Creatures Great and Small.
Okay.
And it's a veterinarian talking about being a country veterinarian, describing all of these things. And he was very often called out to do sheep things. And so I was joking, I was talking today on my podcast, like, had I not read that book and only read the informational manuals I had read about these things can go wrong, it wouldn't be the same because that story just locked it in.
Yeah.
And I bring that up because, like, that's the same with watching the news. Like, you need to expose yourself to other stuff.
I did hear this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to totally hijack this live, Nicole, but I think it's interesting how the Army 2 years ago, its advertising was, look at me, I'm a minority female with a mental or disorder, and look, I'm in the Army and I'm happy, to the last one that came out this week was, I need warrior mentality, airborne troops. Like, it's totally made this huge shift into, we might need some war fighters,
Yeah, why do you think that happened? What do you think they're preparing for?
Yeah, what's crazy is I've done a lot of study on this, Nicole, and I know it really well, or I think I do, and I don't think that the United States is in any danger of Russia or China coming here, maybe with the exception of a nuke or something, but they're not getting over here. The supply lines are too long, the natural barriers are too big, and we have a huge armed populace. Americans have, on average, own 1.2 guns. The closest country to us is Yemen with like 0.78. I mean, so I just don't see it. But there's obviously, I think America wants a fight, and I think they want World War III. And if I lived in Europe, I'd be very concerned. Yeah,
I don't think World War III is a good idea personally, but there appears to be a spirit of war in the air.
Yeah. Yes.
And not, like, war is never good. No. It's not good for the pocketbook. It's not good for the people. It's not good for our mental health. But here we are. The spirit of war is in the air. And now, so I didn't realize the advertising had changed. Like, that's your propaganda foreshadow.
That's right.
Oh, we need people who can fight. Well, you know what else we need is citizenry that's not unhealthy. And we're very unhealthy, typically speaking.
Very unhealthy.
Yes.
Yeah, go look at a picture of a beach in 1970 and then look at a picture of a beach today.
Yeah.
That will tell you kind of the whole story. We're being poisoned by our food, by our medicine, right? By what we see over media. Man, it's time we take a stand. It's time to take control of our own life. It's time to be intentional, right?
Right.
It's just time to do those kinds of things.
And that's why I do Self-Reliance Festival is, it's not because it makes me a millionaire. It's because it helps, it makes us all wealthier in the ways that matter, I guess is probably the best way to say it.
Yeah, I think that's really well said. And anybody who's ever been behind the scenes of one of those festivals will tell you there's not a lot of money in it.
Yeah.
It's actually a lot of work for very little money. But at the end of the day, what you kind of come out of it, I mean, how many more relationships do you have now in the homesteading movement that you would not have had you not done the Self-Reliance Festival?
Oh, like hundreds, and more than that. Like, it does. So it has given me some credibility.
Of course.
Like, I met some personalities this weekend at another event who didn't know who I was necessarily, but they knew what Self-Reliance Festival was.
Yep.
And so then instantly I could be like, okay, well, would you come speak?
Yeah.
And it's easier to get a yes now that it's established than it was the first. The only reason I got decent name speakers at the beginning was that from my podcast, I had credibility and John has credibility.
Yeah.
So we would be like, which one of us should ask person X, and I got a lot of no's. Mm-hmm. Whoops. A lot of no. I wiggle a lot. That was me wiggling. I don't like to sit still. But yeah, we got, I rarely get a no now. I occasionally get one. There's one person in particular that said no twice, so I'm not sure I'm going to ask him a third time. Yeah. He's always had a reason, but I'm not sure it's a real reason. So yeah.
Well, I can say I've had a lot of fun doing it. I've had a lot of fun. The speaking part's cool and all that, but I can't tell you how much fun I've had in the audience and just talking to people. And, and it's not even what happens at the festival. We went, last time I was there, was there on Saturday. And then I had breakfast dates with people in the audience Sunday morning at a local restaurant, and it's all that stuff combined, that makes it such a great experience. And I would recommend any of you guys out there in the audience, if you can make it to Self-Reliance, go. It's a great experience. It's a great place to network. You're going to learn a lot from the speakers in that too. But I'm going to tell you, it's the community that's out in the audience to me that makes it so special, you know, compared to a lot of the other places that we go to. I just couldn't say that enough. You know.
Yeah, you're just walking around talking the whole time when you're there. That's what's funny.
What I do.
Yeah.
I talk to one couple, next people, and I just have lots of conversations. And I've met so many good people, just so many.
Yeah. Some of us prefer to forever stay in the shadows. Is that a good idea?
Yeah, it's actually, you know, there was a time we all did that, big kid.
Yeah.
There was a time I did that. But I think that the longer we wait to stand up and voice our opinions, the worse the damage is going to be. And I think that it's clearly been demonstrated that the best interest of the people is not at the heart of our elected officials and the bureaucrats at the top. And if we don't stand up and do something about it, what's going to happen is my kids and then their kids and then their kids are going to be living in a horrible place, all because we wanted to hide in the shadows.
Yeah.
No disrespect.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know that disrespect was indicated there, but it can be, so the barrier to getting out of the shadows can be hard, especially for introverts.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very introvert friendly event.
Yeah.
Because you can just walk off into the woods if you want to recharge. And there's a lot of other introverts there who are like, yeah, we realized we needed to get out and talk to some people. So some of the best things happen around the campfire and the campground at night too. Just sitting around the fire, drinking a beer or whatever and talking.
Yeah, I had a lady from Pennsylvania the last time I spoke at SRF. I had a lady in Pennsylvania come up to me and goes, I'm not even sure I belong here, but, and started talking. And man, I'm telling you, within 15 minutes, man, she was giving me a rundown and she belonged there perfectly. Yeah. It was her people. She just didn't know it.
Yeah, people come in. I always love this too. So I'll talk to people who are like, oh, I love your festival. I'm like, what were you expecting when you walked in? And they were expecting like, you know, camoed up, gun toting, like whatever. Right. Which, you know, I'm sure we wouldn't say you can't do that there. And they were expecting a very more like militant almost environment. And they're like, and what I found was just a whole bunch of nice people who are interested in talking about whatever their thing is, you know, whether it be a homesteading gardening thing or a self-defense thing or whatever it is.
Hey, I think Gizmo's asking for details on the festival. Give me to put a link in there.
Yeah, it's selfreliancefestival.com. And I believe, I'm on the back end of the website. So
that's right. I got it right there.
Back end of my website, but here's the actual website. There's your coupon code. So you go to selfreliancefestival.com. Up in the upper right-hand corner is a tickets link. And we have different kinds of tickets. So there's a digital pass where we stream from the circus tent. We have 2 tents with different presentations. In-person pass includes camping. It's $105, but with your coupon code, which is Life Done Free, you'll get $20 off. The VIP tickets include a VIP dinner. You get the digital pass with that. You get VIP parking with that. And so that's $450. And then we have, you know, sponsorships. There's also workshops in advance. So you have Fight Like a Girl with Sonny Puzikas, where it's not just women's self-defense class. It's about using your strengths as a woman to get out of the situation. So it's a little bit different than your typical homestead responder, the pig processing class. We've got a plant medicine basics class the night before. So a couple days before things start happening, Radio Made Easy will be doing a Zero to Hero class again. We've got a wild edible foraging class. These 2 are Monday afterwards. So that's basically the overview of what's happening. And you can see everybody who's presenting on there too. That's selfreliancefestival.com.
Now, for those of you guys who can't make it, the digital pass is cool. You'll get to see all the speakers. That stuff's all great. But I'm going to tell you something. Being in the audience is like nothing else. It's I just can't tell you the difference it is, you know, and you know, I would gladly pay for the digital course just to learn from guys, you know, like Angry American, who's going to be there, who, you know, wrote a very popular book that's kind of folklore, kind of in the prepping movement, you know, today. Oh, look at that. Cool. Sign up for the pig processing class. You're not
going to want to miss it.
Yeah. Yeah, but get in the audience. Take all the classes you want in there, but I'm going to tell you, get in the audience.
Yeah, well, and it's also because so the digital passes are great, and a lot of people who go to the event buy the digital passes after the event
Okay.
to go see the recordings. We give them a 50% off coupon code afterwards because we figure you were there anyway, and because we have simultaneous sessions going on.
Yeah.
So you have to choose. Am I going to go to this or am I going to go to that?
Yeah. Yeah. There was twice that I was down there that I was on stage at the exact same time. The class I wanted to hear the most was going on somewhere else. That happened to me twice.
Yeah.
How
long have you been living the life? I've been off-grid homesteading 2008. I started in 2007 with homesteading. So about the same timeline. But I had always been a homestead interested person, but I've not been off grid. I've been more like I'm more food resilient than most people I know, but that's where my passion was the food side first.
Yeah. So for me, I was a prepper first, and I've been doing that for since 93. And then we had a little garden and a small property, and that kind of stuff. But I started homesteading in 2000, after I lost my career.
Yeah. I love your story of how you lost your career. You didn't lose your career. You were like, I choose to lose my career.
Yeah, but see, like I feel like they put me in a corner and I didn't have a choice because either I had to do one of two things: either tell my troops that everything I ever told them in life was a lie. That was choice number one, or choice number two was stand my ground.
Yeah.
I mean, so in my book, I didn't have a choice. But you are right; I could have stayed if I wanted to, but I didn't want to.
But you wouldn't like yourself if you did.
No. And man, I just kept going over and over and over in my head that my troops are going to look at me like I'm a scam. I'm a hypocrite. If I do anything other than what I'm about to go do, I'm a hypocrite. And I just couldn't get over it,
Yeah, well, that's one of the things I like about you is you put your feet where your morals are, right? And it's what better way to be durable than to be able to say I'm going to walk away from a really well-paying job.
Yeah.
Because I have beliefs and they're going against my beliefs and that's it.
Yeah.
Now, that's not easy on the pocketbook, I'm sure.
No,
but
no. But it wasn't the first couple of years. But you know what? Since then, I've started a couple businesses. They're doing fine. I'm living a great life. I have no real complaints, and I don't miss it in the tiniest bit.
Yeah. No. Well, I'll tell you what. I'd like you to do a time management class sometime for my people.
Oh my
because
goodness.
What has impressed me the most about you is watching you run multiple businesses and manage your time and not screw it up.
Yeah.
You're very good at that.
Yeah. Yeah. The CEO I used to work for, the guy that did all the mandating to me that caused it all, he always said to me, you're the only person I've met that can manage 100 things better than they can manage one.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why that is. But
well, we should do a talk about that sometime.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe when you have 100 things, it's like really clear which one's the priority.
Yeah. Yeah. When I'm a very good delegator. And I love my people and I love the troops and I don't prey on them. I don't put myself in a position to take from them. I understand how that goes. And so you get great people around you that are, self-thinkers. You don't really have to tell them what to do. Like most of the time they know what to do, they just do it. And, all you're trying to do is make the hard decisions at the end if they can't make them. And quite often they make them for you. And then, you counsel them on whether it was a good one or a bad one, but off we go. You know?
So there you go.
Yeah.
Multiple businesses and still has time for community. That's because he prioritizes it.
I do.
Yeah.
I really look at building community no different than I look at feeding the chickens.
Yeah.
I don't view it any different.
Yeah, I can see why.
It's all the same to me. It's all something that's just part of my process, that we get into.
100%. Okay, well, let's wrap up. I think we're at the end of an hour and speaking of time management.
Yeah, right.
I've gone 3 minutes over the allotted time tag.
You are a time Nazi.
I respect your time. You made time for us today. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Nicole, I'll make time for you anytime. Anytime. I'm super happy to help.
Yeah. Well, how about you wrap us up and we'll go on our merry way.
Yeah, so for anybody who don't know, I'm Tag from the YouTube channel Life Done Free. You can also find me on Freesteading, Facebook, and I just started a new Instagram account, so we'll see how well that goes. Never been on Instagram before. This is brand new for me. But I think just to kind of leave this whole conversation today is, I think Nicole opened it beautifully when she talked about being durable, and I would add be intentional, be durable and intentional. And I think if you can do those things, you can accomplish great things. I'd also like to thank you, Nicole, for offering a discount code to the Life Done Free viewers if they want to go to Self-Reliance. And you guys, I'm telling you, all you got to do is take a step. That's all it is. Put one foot in front of the other. 5 years from now, you're going to look back at this time and you're going to not even remember what you did on this weekend. You're just not going to invest in yourself, invest in building community. And there's no better place than Self-Reliance Festival. And thank you, Nicole. And thank you for all the impact you've had on our community here. And I look forward to visiting with you again in the future. I look forward to speaking again sometime at Self-Reliance Festival. And thank you for your hospitality.
Well, you're always welcome there. And thank you for making time today, guys. I hope to see you at Self-Reliance Festival. And if not, I will see you at the Midwest Preparedness Project.
Yep,
don't go to mine. Go to his. See you later.
See you, buddy.